combine, but I think we need to take into consideration who now at this point, who the Cowboys might want to take, right? So we'll go ahead and get this thing started, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go.
Okay, so we'll go
We'll slow
on.
it down a bit. Yeah, let's slow this down a bit.
Okay, so Hunter at 1, Carter at 2, Ward at 3, McMillan at 4, Burden at 5, Will Campbell at 6, Mason Graham at 7, Jade Barron at 8, Malachi Starks at 9, Ashton Genty at 10, Jihad Campbell at 11. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so this is fun. So now we're getting, so this is where we want to see. So just as a heads up, I'm pulling up the list of prospects that we've met with. So let me take a look. So we do have at the defensive line side of things, there's no one here. Well, let me take a look. We got John Emeka Ibuka, they got Kenneth Grant. They do have I think, where was it? I think I saw Michael Williams on there as well.
yeah, yep.
Okay. Could we try to see, do we have any trade options available?
We have a lot of trade options. There's the Chargers, the Bills. Let me see the other team. I can't see the other team because I have the notification over it. The Jets and the 49ers, but those are second round picks. So I'm interested in sticking here and picking because, you know, meeting with defensive linemen right now, when you look at this board, people are going to say Tyler Warren. They haven't met with Tyler Warren. It's not realistic. So
And I
I,
want to be very, go ahead. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
I think the pick here is Kenneth Grant. To be honest with you, did they meet with Pierce and Green?
They did not meet with either of them. Something, so I've had some conversations behind the scenes, and a name you want to keep an eye out on is Michael Williams. I think that that's a name. I'm not sure if he's on the board. Yeah, that's a name you want to keep an eye out on as we go through the process, because I've heard that the Cowboys are very interested in him as a possible DeMarcus Lawrence replacement down the road. So again, we're just going to kind of do this from the perspective of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, not saying that I would do this or we would do this, part of, because people would get on shit on me for like doing this. So here's what I'm thinking, right? And we'll make the call here, Chris. Do you think the Cowboys would be more interested in another interior defensive lineman knowing they still have Mozzie coming up, or would you think that they would go after an edge rusher knowing that D-Law might be gone? Honestly, I'm just asking.
I think they'd go after a guy on the interior because I think, one thing that Brian Schottenheimer's talked about is talent development. And I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive because it's like, oh, well, what about Mozzie? I get that. But I also think that, you know, they do have Marshawn Nealon. They do have Sam Williams there. Those are two young players. And I think that, they look at this as an opportunity to get a real difference maker. That's why I think Kenneth Grant is going to be the pick here, in my personal opinion.
Okay. So again, ladies and gentlemen, would I take Kenneth Grant here? Most likely not. I would probably go in a different direction. But again, we're putting our Cowboys hat on for this one, as we're going to most likely do as we go through this process, now that we know who they're meeting with, and also as we go through free agency. So we're going to go with Kenneth Grant here. We get another interior defensive.
I'm going to be honest with you. With this board, I'd absolutely take Kenneth Grant.
Yeah. I would probably, yeah. So I would probably feel the same way, or Nolan. But again, like that might be just a bit too rich for me. So
We got Warren, Pierce, Green, Michael Williams, Walter Nolan, Josh Simmons, Will Johnson, Emeka Egbuka, Shador Sanders.
damn, he went all the way down. God damn.
Derek Harmon, Donovan Ezerique, Jalen Walker, Shamar Stewart, Gray Zabel, Matthew Golden, Amari Hampton, Josh Connerly, Darius Alexander, Alec Ayomanur, Nick Squirton, Demetrius Knight, Trey Amos, Jack Beach, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Colston Loveland, Maxwell Harrison, Tyleek Williams, and Xavier Watts. Damn.
Yeah, and by the way, I would love for everyone in the chat, if you would go a different direction, or you're watching this on the clip that I'll upload onto the channel later. By all means, tell me what you guys would do. I'm always all ears for conversations about that, because I love seeing how you guys are thinking. Now,
love this board. I love this board. You have Nick Eamon Warrior, Siobhan Ravel, Princely, Umaman
This is
Yellen.
probably the best second round we've seen so far doing this.
Oh yeah, Alfred Collins, Braden Swinson, Jaden Higgins. Uh, there's a name here that I don't believe should be in the second round, but
Yeah, I agree.
Carson Schlesinger, JT Tuamau, Quinshawn Judkins. I mean, man, you're you're going to get into a situation where there's going to be a guy available there in the third round as well. So me personally, I think, one point of emphasis that they've been having is we want to improve in our trenches. Now, the reason why Tyler Booker to me, like I would pick him, but I do think, especially talking to my friend from Arizona, that Will Hernandez will most likely be a Dallas Cowboy. So to me, with this pick, I'd be looking at either Siobhan Ravel or Princely Umam Yellen.
No, I got you. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. So part of me
Jaden
also, well, here's the benefit of taking a guy like Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker is going to be 21 years of age, so he'll be a young. He's not going to be like 24 or anything like that. Now, the other thing too is on the. I'm also looking at it long term. Like to me, Xavier Watts is a guy I really like, and if he was there at
Yeah,
44, I would
early.
literally look at picking him because I'm very interested in adding a safety into the room. Um, but let me see here. So if it were me, Chris, I'm just going to be honest with you. I would probably go down the Tyler Booker lane because if you think about it just for a moment to kind of just, so if they bring in Will Hernandez, let's say it's a 1 to 2 year deal, or more specifically, it is a 2 year deal with like a 1 year out situation, right? You can give Tyler Booker time to develop, but also you get depth. That is a guy that he's young, right? And I think that to me, like it would remind me a lot of like the Connor Williams situation where when Connor Williams got hurt, it took him like probably until like year 3 or 4 to become like good at the position. But year 2, you kind of saw semblances of it. But again, you're not going to have all pros across the entire line, but you get a guy in Tyler Booker, you get a young guard that's going to be on your team for the next 4 years. That's what I personally think we should do.
See, I'm gonna push back a little bit because I
Sure.
mean, if Will Hernandez is the pick there, I think or I'm sorry, if he's signed to this team,
Okay.
there's just bigger needs than offensive line here. Like
Okay.
to me, I'm looking at Jaden Higgins, I'm looking at Braden Swinson, I'm looking at Princely Umam and Siobhan Ravel before I get to Tyler Booker
Hmm.
eh, because to me, like I think corner at that point is a way bigger need than uh than guard. Now the problem that you run into here with corner is that Siobhan Ravel is coming off a bad injury. And Princely Umam and Yellen, that's a really good pass rusher there. Um, since we drafted Kenneth Grant, there's no need for Collins, Braden Swinson as well.
So
So I would go Jaden Higgins, me personally.
okay, gotcha. Yes, so we get a receiver. Yeah, let's go with Jaden Higgins here. Let's get a receiver, because assuming they're not gonna, do that. So that's great. So let's see. Okay, Tyler Booker goes. So, and we know that a lot of these players were probably gonna go around this point in time. But again, um, just seeing where we're at, um, I think that's where we're gonna see like a lot of the times. What was it? I want to say 2023, it was like they met with a bunch of guys at the combine and they took a decent amount. So we'll see if that trend continues under um, Brian Schottenheimer as it did under Mike McCarthy. But here we are. We're now in round 3. Let's see what we got.
So we have Jordan Birch. I think this is the guy that the Cowboys met with.
Cowboys didn't met with. Mm-hmm.
Marcus and Bo. Oh man, dude, there's some names down here that I really like. Um, I like Wyatt Millham. I like R.J. Harvey, Marcus Bo. Um,
The thing too is
we
that
need a
no,
running back really bad.
but I think you can get someone later. Like I don't know how the running back room looks right now. If we could take a look real quick.
So if you wait
You,
till
you
later,
you still got I like Damian Martinez.
yeah, but
You
I think you're more so looking at in this range because I don't think he's going to be there. I think you're probably looking at Brashard Smith and on. And to be honest with you, when you talk about the running back position, like I think RJ Harvey, to me, like I have him as a guy at the end of the second round. Like that's why I would fight for RJ Harvey here because
I would, yeah, no, I have no problem with RJ Harvey whatsoever. What I'm just thinking is like, okay, you know, at what point do you pull the trigger on the running back? And I would say at this point, knowing with where you're at and knowing, you know, I'm just trying to think down the road how these other teams would look. I would say I'm cool with taking RJ Harvey here. I think you get a running back. And again, that's a name you should also be familiar with too, from what I'm hearing behind the scenes as well. So you just, because I don't think you need to take another guy and stuff like that, like on the edges and stuff like that. I think you get your running back here. I think I'm
because
cool. Mhm.
here's the thing, right? When you look at this board, Jordan Birch, that's an interesting name. Chris Paul, Mason Taylor, Kevin Winston, Marcus Bowe, you know, Wyatt
Yeah.
Miller. These are very interesting names. The problem that you run into with me is that like, okay, if we're living in this world where, we think that the Cowboys have already addressed that right guard spot, like, I think that a way more pressing need would be running back. Now, if they don't, then we're talking about, going back into the second round, living in that like kind of revisionist history there is like I would have probably selected Booker if they didn't address that position, but I'm under the assumption that they're going to address that position.
Hmm.
So at this point, like you have five starting caliber players on your offensive line. I think even if they end up losing D-Law, I still think Nealon and Williams, those guys are starting caliber players. I
Hmm.
don't think you have a start like unless you re-sign Rico, but like even if you have Rico there, you still want to get a legit
You
op.
want right. So let's go to RJ Harvey here. Let's get the running back and let's move. So now we got a ways to go at this point.
We're gonna speed this up.
Yeah, because we got like we this is going to be us on draft day. Just that fourth round pick is just so
I
annoying.
know.
Okay, so we're coming up. So we got a bunch of picks coming up. Lord. All right.
I just want to go to running back real quick. Like these are the names that are on the board. I mean, like I like Jordan James, but like
It's a,
these are the names.
yeah, no, I understand. So a name you guys want to be familiar with, again, I'm going to be saying this a lot because this is the first time we're actually talking about the prospects and I'm starting to hear from people. Jackson Dart. That's a name that I think you need to be familiar with. We took him in the last mock draft. I believe the Cowboys are looking to take a developmental quarterback this year. And I think if it were me, I would pull the trigger on Jackson Dart here. You get a dude that, listen, I want to be crystal clear on this. Was I a big fan of him at Ole Miss? Not particularly. But there are things that I think the Cowboys like in him that would make him an option. Now,
Yeah,
for
in the
me,
fifth round, you
if
can't.
it were me, I would probably go down the route of maybe a Kyle McCord. But I do think they are taking a quarterback this year.
Yeah, I think Kyle McCord's a better player, but I hear you. Like, if we're living in this world, like, what do we think the Cowboys are going to do? Jackson Dart at pick 150. I think that's kind of a steal there. So
Hmm.
uh, here, like, we could possibly start a run on linebackers with these few picks here,
They
and
did
that's
me with the
probably
guy out of Oklahoma.
so. I think that that's probably the way we should go with this.
Yep, let's go with Danny Strussman. Yep. Hmm.
Okay, so when we look down this board, like cornerback is going to be interesting. Emory Jones at pick 178. Like, I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
I'm cool with that.
so yeah, you want to go Emory Jones
Yeah,
here?
let's go with Emory. I mean, we got a pick. We got another pick coming up, and we'll take. I think we should take the corner out of Rutgers. Longer being
Here,
boneless.
here's where now you want to know what I think he might be there with our next pick, but I'm looking at Taj Brooks to complement RJ Harvey.
Okay.
But we can go with the corner because I mean positional value and
Also,
let's
is
see.
he still there?
He's still there. So
Yeah.
that to me is like, all right,
Let's go ahead
let's,
and yep.
let's run that in.
Hmm.
Boom.
And then we have what, 2 more picks, which I
Two
could
more.
care less. I could care less. I'm thinking we go Jake Majors here.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
really like him out of Texas. As I've been watching more film on him, I think that I would like for the Cowboys to. I
Oh,
think
at
he'll.
211, that's a steal.
By the way, I want to be very clear for Texas, like for many other Texas players or other dudes that have been that are near Dallas slash they come from Texas. Don't be shocked if you see that on Dallas Day or like they go to the pro days and stuff like that. So,
So you
um,
want to know what I think they'll do?
hmm,
I think they're
it's a,
going
yeah,
Shiloh.
let's go with Shiloh. Yeah, that's been our thing. And the last pick has always been. All right,
That's
let's
what
see how I
they're gonna
did.
do. Now,
Uh,
James Pierce, by the way, it's saying that we should have drafted James Pierce. Apparently, coming out of the combine, he had the worst character report. So
James, you're talking
James,
about?
James
Oh,
Pierce Jr.
yes, I saw. So let's take a look here. So, so what's the scroll down? I'm just curious. What's the, so B again? I can fuck off. That's all I think. Um, but no, I think this is fine. I think that. Let me see. Well, hold on one second. I'm just pulling up the chat. Mark my words, Dart is going in the first round. I think he's going to shoot up draft boards, Dustin. I agree. And David Lawrence said, Dart ain't making it this far. I agree. I like that's why I'm like, dude, if Dart is there in round 5, you take him and you just call it a day. Again, like to me, I really like this draft. I think that it's not a sexy draft by any stretch of the imagination, but it gets the job done. I would personally give this a B plus if this is the Cowboys haul. I mean, you get 2 running backs that complement each other very well. You get another young receiver, so then that way when Tolbert leaves, you have someone. You improve your interior defensive line, you improve your linebacking core, and you just get depth along the O-line. I think that this makes sense, and then you make Dion happy because now his kid's a Cowboy. But I mean, what do you think, Chris? What do you think?
Yeah, no,